GCC Chem 130 students. We are now going to look at Chapter 2. I'm recording this from home because we have a stay-at-home order right now because of the coronavirus. So you may be watching this because you're in an online class, or we may be back face-to-face right now. Regardless, I'm really glad you're here with me to learn about Chapter 2, which is not a chemistry chapter, by the way. It's a math chapter. So you will want to have a calculator for several of the sections in this chapter. So get a calculator and let's get started on our math skills to help us in our chemistry course. All right, so Chapter 2 is somewhere either in Canvas or it's on a website. Your instructor has shown you where the book is, and we have our own in-house GCC book with 15 chapters. So hopefully you have read Chapter 2 and are now watching the PowerPoints, or I suppose you could watch the PowerPoints first and then read Chapter 2. But the PowerPoints aren't released anywhere on the website because we have the book. The chapter, which is the book, right? The chapters are part of the book, contain basically the same information. So you don't really need to have both of them. You don't need the chapter and the PowerPoints because they're the same information. So we just gave you the chapters because they take up less paper to print. If you are taking this class in person, you really should print out the chapters and bring them with you to your class. And even if you're taking this online, if you can, I would still print out the chapters so you can write on them and highlight and take notes. So you should always take notes when you're watching these videos. So I suggest you get a pen and paper, your calculator, sit down, and let's have a good time with Chapter 2. So Chapter 2 is about measurements. A measurement is a number with a unit. We're mostly going to use metric units. Let's look at this example. This book weighs 8. You're missing something, aren't you? 8 kilograms, 8 pounds, 8 grams, 8 what? A number's missing. Yeah, you need to know a unit. That's why it's a measurement. A weight or mass is a unit. So this book weighs 8 doesn't make any sense. All measurements have a little bit of uncertainty with them. Sometimes you have to estimate a reading, as you'll see in this chapter. So let's talk about some things that we measure in Chem 130. That would be length, mass, and volume. Length is measured in meters. So meters, M, or it could be something like centimeters, millimeters, kilometers. It's measured with rulers. For rulers, we look at little numbers, increments. Some rulers have more incremental marks than others. So let's look at these two rulers here, the white one and the one on the bottom. Which ruler is more accurate? You're correct if you said the bottom one. Yeah, it's more accurate. Why? Yeah, just common sense told you it's more accurate because it has more little marks, little increments. Yeah. So which ruler has more uncertainty? Yeah, the top one, the white one. Very good. So just your gut instinct gave you the correct answers for that. Let's talk about mass. In the metric system, mass is measured in the units of grams. It can be little like milligrams or big like kilograms or just plain old grams or nanograms, picograms, centograms. Mass is measured by balances. You can have like a triple beam balance or a digital balance. Now in lab, we have digital balances and you need to write down all the numbers. Always write down all the numbers for a digital balance. Even in the online lab course, we're going to have some mass readings and you need to record all the numbers for a digital balance. What's the difference between mass versus weight, by the way? Well, mass doesn't change. Mass is the amount of matter that's inside an object. Mass is not affected by gravity, so it's the same no matter where you are. So if I was beamed into outer space, I would still have the same amount of matter inside me, and I would have the same amount of mass. Now, weight is a measure of the force of gravity pulling down on you. So your weight does vary depending on gravity. So if you were beamed out into space, your weight would be 0 because there's no gravity out there. So mass is the same anywhere you go, but weight differs. For example, an astronaut would weigh 170 pounds on Earth, but only 29 pounds on the moon because there's less gravity there. Volume. Volume is the amount of space occupied. Volume is measured using glassware like beakers and flasks and graduated cylinders, syringes, burettes, and pipettes. The metric unit for volume is liters, a capital L. And if it's little, it could be milliliters, centiliters, microliters. If it's big, it could be kiloliters, but some sort of liter for the metric system. For fun, what are these measuring? What are these called? So on the far left in blue, the blue liquid is in something that narrows. So it's a flask. Flask narrows as they come in. So that's an Erlenmeyer flask. Next, we have a purple and red liquid in a container where the sides go straight up. What are those containers called? Yeah, beakers. Beakers go straight up. Flasks narrow inwards. Now, there's a skinny thing with green liquid in it. What is that called? Yeah, that's a graduated cylinder. Very good, graduated cylinder. Now, in the very middle, we have a golden liquid in a round bottom thing. What do you think that's called? Now, it narrows inwards, so it's a flask, and it has a round bottom, so it's a round bottom flask. Then we have a yellow liquid in a skinny, tall, graduated cylinder, yes. Then we have a red and a green liquid in something that narrows, so it is a flask, an Erlenmeyer flask. And the last one right here in purple, what's that? Graduated cylinder. Good job. So, if we're talking about the unit syringes have in hospitals, what is that unit? Like sometimes you see on TV, give me 5 blank stat of adrenaline. What is that unit? If you said cc, you're correct. Yeah, 5 cc's of adrenaline stat. cc actually stands for something. It's an abbreviation. Do you know what cc stands for? Yes, if you said cubic centimeter, that's right. cc stands for cubic centimeter, which means cm cubed, centimeter cubed, a cubic centimeter. Now, you may not know, a cubic centimeter is the same thing as a milliliter. So remember this, a milliliter is a cubic centimeter, is a cc. Those are all the same. So if I have 9.8 cc's, how many milliliters is that? 9.8, because they're the same. Yeah, very good. You're also going to have to know these units from the American system. A gallon is 4 quarts, a quart is 2 pints, and a pint is 2 cups. Yeah, that's the English or American system. Now, to help you remember those volume units, here's a little graphic that might help you. We have a big G for gallon. Inside the gallon is 1, 2, 3, 4 Q's for quarts. 4 quarts in the gallon. Inside the quart, we have 2 P's, 2 pints in the quart. And then inside the P, we have 2 little C's, 2 cups in a pint. So if you put the whole thing together, there's 2 cups in a pint, 2 pints in a quart, 4 quarts in a gallon. And that picture for those visual people may help you. Well, that's going to be it for our first video for Chapter 2. Good luck, GCC. See you on the flip side. Bye-bye.